Evening, call to order the Town of St. John Plan Commission meeting for November 19th, 2025. Would invite all that are able to stand for the pledge, please. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Ms. Abernathy, can we get the roll call, please?
Justin Nestor.
Present.
Colin Emschway.
Present.
Joe Gomestego.
Present.
Rudy Bambick is absent. Russ Vogel.
Here.
John Gill.
Here.
Ashley Abernathy present. Adam Decker.
Present.
John Dykstra.
Here.
And Bill Manasopoulos.
Here.
All right, agenda item number 4, public hearing, item A, 2025-20, the Preserve East. Mr. Slager, good evening.
Good evening, Jack Slager with Schilling Development, representing the Preserve. The first item we have on your agenda tonight is the Preserve East, which consists of 34 lots on 36.5 acres for a density of less than 1.0. We previously had developed lots 1 and 2 adjacent to Rosewood Estates, and so this is the remaining 34 lots of that original 40-acre parcel. This property is zoned R1, and we intend to meet those requirements, meaning all of the lots will be minimum 100-foot wide and 20,000 square feet. Due to the topography, wetlands, and floodplain, there's 2 distinct neighborhoods, 16 lots on 16 lots on one side and 18 lots on the other side, 2 cul-de-sacs, one coming from each side. The sanitary sewer is all gravity. The water lines are all looped, including the lines that were recently installed by the town at 96th Avenue and Acorn. The entrance off of White Oak Avenue will have acceleration and deceleration lanes. We will be asking for a waiver from the requirement for curb and sidewalk along the east side of White Oak. In lieu of that, we will be constructing a bike path from the complete western boundary through the property to the eastern boundary, and also a sidewalk connecting into Rosewood. So that gives everyone access to the White Oak bike path. We've avoided a majority of the wetlands on this site. However, we are still awaiting final sign-off by the Army Corps of Engineers. They have had some setbacks because of the government shutdown, so we're not getting responses from them like we normally would. But our wetlands consultant is confident we will have that shortly, and we would request that any approvals tonight be contingent on final wetlands approval. We have received the satisfactory letters from the town engineer. We've paid all the required fees, and we have submitted the notice of publication and the proofs of publication so that we can conduct a public hearing this evening. And with that, I'll answer any questions you may have, or you can open it up to the public.
Anyone questions, comments?
I can confirm what Jack has said. Both their SWIP fee and their remaining development fee have been paid. All publications are in order for the public hearing to proceed tonight.
Mr. Dykstra, I saw your letter as well.
Yes. Yeah.
You're happy?
Yeah. Everything was satisfactory except for the conditions that Jack mentioned.
Okay. All right. Anyone else, questions, comments? All right, with that, we'll go ahead and open up the public hearing for 2025-20, the Preserve East. At this point, I would invite any members of the public who'd like to come up and speak for or against this to come on up to the podium. Just need your name and address for the record, please. Sure. Come on up, sir. I just need your name and your address.
Oh, okay. Nicholas Siorek, S-I-O-R-E-K, address 12475 West 96th Avenue. I just have 2 real quick questions. Who is the developer?
Schilling.
Schilling? Okay. And then can you expand on the clarification of that bike path? Is that from the east lot to the west side of this parcel here?
So it's starting at where the existing bike trail for the original preserve starts, crossing White Oak, and I believe they intend to install pedestrian crossing signage along White Oak there. It's going to then go across here where they will have an ADA crossing to cross here. It's going to follow here and then connect to the sidewalks that are going to be installed over on this side here. Additionally, there is going to be a sidewalk connecting to where the sidewalk kind of dead ends here down off of Alvina Rose Court, and then go up through that outlot and then connect to the sidewalks that are going to serve this section of the Preserve East. So that's kind of going to be the bike path trail. It's going to kind of like meander through and then over across. So it will then connect the original preserve to the preserve east. That's kind of the plan.
Okay. My next question is, currently there's an existing chain link fence on the east side, that's the side I live on, we believe, I think was from the previous owner. What is the intention of that fence to remain, or is that to be demolished? And then our question is mainly because that fence is the fence that holds back the coyotes. And currently, you know, we have a lot of deer that reside on our side who hop the fence to avoid you know, the wildlife that's on that side.
Okay. What I'll do is I just hold off on your question.
Sure.
Mr. Slager, who I'm going to invite him to come back up when all the members of the public who've come up to speak.
Okay.
I see him taking notes. I'm going to let him answer that question for you, okay?
Okay. And then the last question I have is there anticipated start date for excavation, or of when you're going to open up the road at the end of my street, which is 96th Avenue?
He's going to answer that one for you, too.
Okay, thank
I
you.
see him nodding that he's taking notes for it. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else would like to come up? Please, just need your name and address, please.
Annelle Moraine, 9495 White Oak Avenue. And I did have questions also about
Sorry, your name one more time.
Annelle Moraine. And I do have questions. It goes along with his question. We do also share that chain link fence on 93rd. And it goes, believe, 2 blocks down. Same concerns with wildlife. Like he was saying, we do have quite a bit of coyotes in that area. And just the plan for that, I guess, that easement, like what will be in that place if that gets removed. That's it.
Okay. Thank you. Anyone else for public comment? Second call. Third and final call. With that, public comment on 2025-20, the Preserve East is now closed. Mr. Slager, if you'd like to address the questions, please.
Sure. Yeah, Ashley did a nice job of describing the bike path and the connectivity back into Rosewood. So I'm assuming that was satisfied his question on that. The property does contain a chain link fence around the entire perimeter. It would be our intention to remove that chain link fence as construction goes on. We actually don't allow chain link fences on our lots as they're developed, so they may, those homeowners may choose to install a fence at some point once the homes are built, which we only allow wrought iron fences. So it would be our intention to remove the fence as construction commences. And a start date is really pending on continuing sales in the preserve, but as of right now, we're looking at start date of summer of '26 with lots ready for construction in fall of '26.
Okay. Thank you. Anyone on the panel, questions, comments?
That bike path that's running over just leads to nothing?
The one that we're installing, well, on the west, it ties in with the bike path
Well,
on
no,
White
the
Oak.
one in the middle, you got it kicked out probably about 20 feet.
Yeah,
right
there's
there.
actually a nice little alcove right there of really nice trees, so it's just kind of a little rest area, I guess. Just kind of a nice little nature area that you can stop at.
Anyone else? And with that, Chair would entertain a motion for approval of primary plat. Any motion needs to reference the findings of fact and with the contingency of the applicant gaining approval for the wetlands.
Additionally, make any motion contingent upon approval of the waiver for curb and gutter along White Oak Avenue, and in lieu of that curb and gutter, the installation of the bike path throughout the project as presented.
Curb and gutter and sidewalk.
And sidewalk. Thank you. Sorry.
Make a motion to grant primary plat approval contingent on the wetland permit coming back and contingent on, and I'll make a motion to approve the sidewalk, curb and gutter waiver along White Oak with us getting the bike path in lieu of that. And I'll reference the findings of fact.
I'll second.
Motion by Mr. Gill, second by Mr. Vogel, who I heard first. All in favor, so indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carries 6-0.
Thank you.
Item B, 2025-21, the Preserve West.
Again, Jack Slager with Schilling Development, representing the Preserve. This will be the final phase of Preserve West, and will contain 42 lots on 39 acres. When we went through the approval process in 2021 for Preserve West, we anticipated adding additional land to the west, so no cul-de-sac was provided on that stub street. We have since acquired an additional 15 acres lying to the west, so this has allowed the addition of 10 lots and a full cul-de-sac at the end of Winterberry. That's that long cul-de-sac you see there. We also now will have 2 large lots, 2 acreage lots fronting on 101st. One is 5 acres with an existing house, and the other will be 3.8 acres. The final phase also includes over 2,000 feet of additional paved bike path. Again, we've avoided any wetlands on this site. However, we are still awaiting final sign-off by the Army Corps of Engineers. So similar to the last one, we make it conditional on final wetland sign-off. We have received the satisfactory letters from the town engineer. We've paid all the required fees, and we've submitted the proofs of publication for public notice tonight. In the town engineer's letter, he did point out that we will need a waiver on this one also, and this would be a request for a waiver from the Pipeline Impact Ordinance. This ordinance was established in June of 2020 after our original approval of the Preserve West, and so the original design did not include the pipeline impact area that your ordinance now requires. So we would need a waiver from that. Other than that, I think it's pretty standard unless you have any questions on this site.
From the town's perspective?
All fees have been paid, like Jack stated. The portion that he's referring to, if I remember correctly, looking at the previous plans, that was already incorporated and approved in the original preserve plans with with no buffer. So, I mean, it's something that was already approved in 21 originally, 2021,
Yeah.
or prior to.
We had gotten in before the ordinance was established, so they didn't require it back when we started this project.
So this would just be something to finish out the subdivision. There were no comments from, as stated at the study session, from police, fire, public works. Everything is good and in order for this one. Public hearing items have been reviewed, approved, and we're good to go.
Mr. Dykstra?
Yeah, similar, it's the wetland, or waiting, that's pending yet, as Jack mentioned, as a condition, yes.
One other minor item. Because that additional 15 acres that they acquired was zoned open space, we do have to do a PUD amendment to incorporate the 15 acres into the Preserve West PUD. That ordinance is prepared and has been presented in your packet for the Plan Commission. That one would be a recommendation to the Town Council. So whatever motions are made, I would recommend doing the PUD amendment first, followed then by the primary plat.
Got it. All right.
So PUD.
With that, we'll go ahead and open public hearing for 2025-21 Preserve West. Like before, any members of the public who'd like to come up, speak for or against, please feel free to do so. Second call. Third and final call. With that, public comment is closed. Guess you don't really have anything else to address, do you? No? Okay. With that, the chair would entertain a motion. As Ms. Abernathy said, the first would have to be for a recommendation to the town council for amendment of the plan unit development agreement. Speak.
I'll make a motion to send a favorable recommendation to the town council for the PUD amendment to incorporate the additional 15 acres into the Preserve West PUD with the findings of fact.
Second. Motion by Ms. Abernathy, second by Mr. Gomstigel. All in favor, so indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Thank you.
Favorable recommendation for that. Second would be entertain a motion for approval of primary plat with the conditions of satisfactory approval of the wetland and waiver of the pipeline.
Continuing with what was previously approved, yes.
Yes.
I'll make a motion to approve the primary plat with approval of the waiver for the pipeline and the final wetland approval.
Motion by Mr. Vogel, second by Mr. Gomstigel. All in favor, so indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Thank you very much.
Set them both, thanks. Item C, 2025-23, The Grove. Olthoff.
Good evening, Plan Commission members. Ed Rechtmal with Olthoff Homes, here tonight representing the owner and petitioner. The request before you tonight is for a rezone from open space to PUD. I have approximately 10 slides I'm going to walk through in short order. I'll try to keep it brief. I know most of the board is familiar with the project, but for the public's knowledge, I feel it's a good place to walk through them. So, actually, if you could bounce to the next slide. All right, so generally the site is located south of 93rd Avenue, north of 101st, east of the Renaissance subdivision, and west of Blaine Street and the Grouse Point subdivision, primarily in the northeast corner of town. It's comprised of 5 parcels of land, totaling 169 acres. Next slide, Ashley. This slide represents the surrounding zoning based on the current zoning map in St. John. As stated earlier, it's currently open space. It is surrounded by residential uses as reflected up here from R1 to R2 PUDs. Next slide, Ashley. This is how it relates to the current comprehensive plan. I recognize the comprehensive plan is a little bit dated. Nevertheless, this is what is reflected in it. This area was contemplated for residential growth, and that is what we are proposing for this site. The concept plan itself is all single-family residential components. It consists of 175 single-family lots, 100 of which are detached single-family lots, and another 50 would be single-family attached lots. The total is 275, and the density works out to about 1.6 units per acre. Some of the defining characteristics, generally speaking, again, we're preserving quite a bit of open space, hence the PUD request. There's approximately 35 acres of wetland and natural features that will be preserved as part of this project. We also plan to expand the sidewalk and trail connectivity throughout the community, so there'll be pathways along 101st. There'll also be connectivity basically from the gates of St. John South north through into Grouse Point. Some of the other things that I'll mention now include the utility connections. So utility connections, there'll be water connections at the north and east side, again into Grouse Point, both water and sanitary, and then also sanitary and water connections at 101st Entrance Road, which lines up with Park Place with the gates. Storm water facilities are primarily located adjacent to the existing arm of the Beaver Ditch there. So road connectivity and access points, we have 3 of them. We'll be connecting into Grouse Point, and then also we have a connection on 101st and then a stub to the east, which goes into the future parcel there that's existing. Next slide, Ashley. Again, some compatibility with the comprehensive plan. This area is projected to have residential growth in that area. It's offering 2 types of single-family options, and it just offers a wider variety of home styles. Next slide, Ashley. And then, again, a little bit more on the concept plan and the open space. As I previously mentioned, there's 35 acres of open space associated with the property. We will be putting a playground and park area on the west side of the creek. There's an existing access point there to get across the creek. So there will be a playground for this community, and then a lot of green space for our, other types of activities that may happen out there. I also mentioned the sidewalk and trail connectivity before, but again, this provides a lot more connectivity from north to south and east to west. Next slide, Ashley. And then finally, as part of this project, we're offering quite a few commitments on both the housing styles and the development. So some of the architectural upgrades that we're proposing include steeper roof pitches, 612, normally 612 roof pitches, 412 on the dormers. All the driveways and service walks will be concrete. Each unit will have composite siding, so all the units throughout the community will have composite siding on them. Window trims will be 6 inches in width. Each home will have a garage door with the windows on it. 50% of the units on the single-family detached lots will have increased masonry levels on them, so 30%. Other things that we committed to primarily on the single-family side of things, the lots bordering the edges, so like on the west edge and on the south edge, those are all going to be 80-foot wide lots. They're also going to have a rear bump out or feature to them to break up the elevation with those views, like a breakfast nook or an outdoor living space to that nature. And then side and corner lots will have at least 2 windows on the side and corner lots to again help kind of break up those elevations at the corners there. And then finally, some commitments on the land plan side of things. We're going to work with the town on Klein Avenue with potentially either installation or financial commitments for that roadway. And then also, there was at one time a well site proposed out here. If the town foresees wanting that or needing that, we're more than willing to provide that as part of the project as well. So at this time, I'd be happy to take any questions, open it up to the public hearing, and try to answer those questions as well.
Questions, comments?
We are in order for the public hearing. I did receive all proofs, so we are good to proceed with the public hearing. He touched on the comprehensive plan. From a comprehensive plan standpoint, it does provide for that diversity of housing as well as the different arrangement. All in all, it is a relatively low dwelling unit per acre at that 1.6. Yeah, which is considered a low-density unit dwelling. Additionally, they are providing those commitments for the Klein Avenue project, and I know we have a grant for it, so I think that's why they're working with the town on how that project is going to play out.
Correct.
What grant?
We received a NERC grant for the Klein Avenue expansion.
So the connection through the Klein Avenue, we'll call it the swamp, to connect it to 93rd from 101st.
So you received it, I'm sorry.
So it's in the planning stages. They're doing environmental studies. If it is the opinion of Structure Point, who's representing us for that project, that we should forego the actual installation and just get a monetary I'm sorry, I'm out of last words. Yeah, put to the side for when we do put it through. Thank you, I had a little hiccup there.
That's all right, I get it now.
Assuming there's probably a match for that grant from the town, right? They would go, towards that.
That's the Klein Avenue
Yeah.
extension.
Well, You know, I have my reservations on smaller units rather than R1. Could you tell me, like, the small units of 80, approximately how much water would one resident would use in that type? Do you have any idea? Also, what is our capacity of water to be able to use there in case it might run dry? Because one of them is, you know, that's an investment for people that are building. All of a sudden, our wells are not going to be there all the time. You know that sooner or later. So we're going to have a lot of people that will be mad if the wells run dry or the wells just don't begin to produce. But maybe, I know what we're thinking here, because I like to think that way, we can buy water from Lake Michigan. Oh, we got water there, but that's costly. Do you have any idea how much water we have there for those small lots and everyone?
It's my understanding that the town of St. John has plenty of water.
What's plenty of water? That's what I'm trying
Well,
to say.
enough to service it into the future.
What's
We-
into the future?
So maybe I can jump in and help out here. The detailed questions I can have answered by our water operator, who's not here at this time. Our water capacity is more than enough, and including the well site that Altoff will be deeding to the town with the surrounding area, if at any point it's needed. But I just want to make clear to the public or anyone else watching that we are not in a shortage of water.
Not right now.
Correct.
Okay, so that's my concern right now.
Correct,
because-
correct.
So I just want to see if there's a study on that, or there's a research. I like to deal with a little bit of numbers that I could hang on to, so that
Understood.
the rest of the general public, because that's the general public's investment. And even if it starts to run or you have problems with the water, that may reduce the price value of those homes in the surrounding area too.
Right, so we're required to meet certain IDEM criteria when it comes to water, both pressure and volume. And so, you know, as we work through this process, after we get through zoning, if we're lucky enough to get through zoning and going to the engineering side of things, that'll all get reviewed and make sure that there is enough capacity and volume for this community to be there. On top of the fact, as Billy mentioned, we are supplying that well site. We did already run test wells on it. We do have the report on it. We know what it can produce already. It actually produces very well. So there is that potential to have that well site there as well. So we feel from our perspective, this has plenty of capacity for it.
I do want to see what,
Right.
I
And
think we
don't
talked
quote,
about
don't
it.
quote me on it, Joe, but a little over 10 million is what we can pump per day, and I think we're not even at 7 million. And again, that's not to the gallon, but you can get a rough idea of what we produce and what we could pump out, or what we use after we pump it out.
because that's in the sanitary, the stormwater, that's, all those things are gonna come and haunt this town, and including the investing people that are buying those homes or are gonna move in there that have, their idea is gonna be nice and rosy, except when there's no water or the water capacity's not there. That's what I'm kinda concerned. That's why I don't like this R2 lots that much. And I do appreciate you're trying to get the best out of the land so you can make a profit. But the problem is that once you leave, you build, we're stuck. That's my biggest concern. My hands are sweating every time I come up here because I'm trying to embrace the future that you guys are trying to do. And we are, but at the same time be secure with something that's valuable for the general public.
Understood. Thank you.
That's all I have.
Anyone else? Questions, comments?
I have just a quick question, and just to get a little clarity on the road connectivity that's on the northeast side of the site. So I see that we've got Klein, seems to be stubbing out in the north. Is that correct?
Yes, the current plan is to stub, it would run
Okay.
north, up to the wetland boundary, and then also be stubbed south. So we would create that we'd work with the town on creating that intersection for Klein Avenue, and I think that's 96th Street, or 96th Place in Grouse Point. So
Okay.
all that would become connected.
And then to the east, we seem to have a road going there. Is that have existing connectivity anywhere, or is that
No,
for future?
it's a road, it's sub for future development.
Okay, thank you. And then going south, I guess, that's where Klein would be going north-south? Is that the extension that we're talking about?
No, so that
Okay.
would be connected into Park Place, so.
Okay.
Prior land plans that we had didn't have that lined up. Now that's lined up, so that'll become kind of a four-way intersection area.
Yes, I see that.
You're asking over here.
I'm asking on the east side of the site. So,
It's anticipated that Klein will come all the way down and be an intersection with 101st right there, right?
101st to 93rd.
Yeah.
okay. The only reason
This will go all the way through, from 93rd all the way down
Okay.
to 101st.
Yeah.
Once
So-
that extension's done.
Okay. So they would both have access to that. Okay. All right. That's all I had.
Okay. Anyone else, questions,
Thank you
comments?
for the clarity.
All right, with that, we'll go. Go.
Real quick, the wetlands to the north, we have a lot going up there, and who's in charge of that? Trees fall, cross that ditch, who's in charge of that? HOA? Or is
It'd become HOA property,
Okay.
or it would be maintained by the HOA. Whatever maintenance would be had there, but typically those wetlands would stay naturalized, and we don't, nothing happens up there, other than they stay in the current state they're in.
Okay.
Anyone else? All right, with that, we'll go ahead and open public hearing for 2025-23, The Grove. Any members of the public who'd like to come up?
Hello, Commission. My name is Bob Valois. I reside at 6860 West 101st Avenue, Crown Point, Indiana. As most of you know, I was employed for the town for 24 years and sat on this very commission. During my tenure with St. John, I was the lead utility operator for a lot of that time. The town currently has the opportunity to significantly improve the municipal water supply. This being why I am here tonight. There currently was turmoil over the town trying to annex a development several miles out of town limits, but now there's another opportunity to capitalize on a well inside town limits, which is the Grove development proposed to you guys tonight. In 2023, the town drilled a test well in the southwest corner of the development, also performed an interference study to the Gates Wells 6 and 7. There found to be no impact on those other well sites. The test pumping determined there's potential to produce anywhere from 1,000 to 1,400 gallons per minute, which would result in additional 1.4 to 2 million gallons of drinking water per day. This well is located in an ideal location on 101st Avenue, as you can see. There's an existing 12-inch water main that travels east and west along 101st Avenue. The 12-inch main could have valves installed outside of the plant near the roadway to control the hydraulics of the water, to allow it to go directly to Hack Street Tower or east towards Klein Ave and Blaine Street. The developer, like he stated, is responsible for installing the connection between Park Place and Klein Avenue along 101st Avenue, per the town's subdivision control ordinance. Hydraulically, this will allow the water to travel east from the Grove Well towards Grouse Point, Tiburon, where we've had several low-pressure calls in the past, and the previous LBL development of 600 additional homes that was proposed or approved by the council earlier this year. Eventually, it would then work its way to Hack Street Tower, which during summer months, Hack Street Tower drops like a rock when the sprinklers are activated. There are also 3 more developments planned or being constructed right now within a 2-mile radius of the Grove Well. This is an idealistic opportunity for the town to seek assistance from the developers that would most definitely benefit from this well site. When Mr. Lawton developed the Gates back in 2000, he was asked to purchase a tower, well treatment plant, sanitary line leading to Cherville. He obliged. I have heard rumors about the town's asking Althoff to assist with fundings of other priorities they believe are within the town, but I believe the town would be more beneficial requesting assistance to the infrastructure needs and not the town's wants. I believe it would be a wiser decision fiscally to ask for the installation of a well and water plant, which will cover or cost over $2 million, than a $500,000 want. I've stated publicly on record during my employment with the town of St. John that there is an abundance of water, and there is, to the town, and I stand behind that statement to this day. With that being said, the water still needs to be pumped, filtered, and treated from the ground. Currently, Billy, you are correct. You have 2 water plants that can produce up to 10 million gallons a day. But can they pump that out of the treatment plant? Also, there's nowhere, the town has stated that it did not need to turn on the interconnect to Sherrville this year, which is good because of the media that was installed. But also, Hack Street, I would love to see the tower trends for Hack Street Tower during the summer months. The tower levels drop in Hack Street significantly when the sprinklers kick on. Everybody is aware of that here. Secondly, I just wanted to take the time, thank the commission for what you guys do. It's a hard job, and you never hear that, and that's all I have. But I wanted to touch on Bill's comments about, you have 10 million gallons, you're correct. I agree with you.
I wasn't too sure on the.
No, the numbers, I have the numbers, but, so I've also, Mr. Sweats informed me that there's, you have well 10 by the Monix treatment plant, which you would significantly have to make some big CIP projects to extend that plant. Your Gates plant is maxed out now with 4 wells. You cannot include any more wells there. There's paperwork and reports on this. Also, there's talk about drilling at the inner shoe corner. Yes, there is a possible good fractures there, but I drilled 3 wells in that area along White Oak, all of them in high iron. So the reason I am here for this well is because this quality and capacity is worth the fight. If not, I wouldn't be here, all right? That's why I'm here.
All right, I thank you for coming. And if are you done with the statement?
I almost am. Yeah.
Okay, please,
Yeah,
continue.
Almost. But yes, the water you have out southwest, I wouldn't rely on that. This water, it's already proven, it's a fact, it's there. Now it's time to, you guys to think about that. So, good luck.
Thank you.
As far as the needs and wants of the towns, water is always a need, whether you have enough or, because we are growing. Bob is right on that. I'm not sure what the $500,000 want is, and I wouldn't want the public to think that we're foregoing this well or this well site for a want. I've been in contact with Mr. Altoff, with Ed, and our main concern is to secure that well area and the surrounding 200-300 feet around it for when, if it's needed, that there can be another well added onto there. And obviously, Bob, you can do the numbers in your head. Right off the top of your head right now, you know that we got enough water for another close to 3,000 homes before we even, roughly.
Right, but you
got that. No, hold on. You know, I shouldn't ask the question. I should have made that a statement. Excuse me.
Well,
I'm sorry. No. It's okay. I'm gonna.
Had that going in
Excuse
with
me. I'm at the dais, Bob.
It's public hearing.
It's not public hearing. You were already up there. I asked you if you're done with your statement. You're done. What's that?
I can go back up.
Not really, but we can sit there. So I retract the question, and I should make it a statement for 3,000 more homes before we even get anywhere near capacity. I don't know if you were around what test wells you know about Shoe Corner. Trace analysis shows that there is quite a significant one there. When and if that property is annexed, I'm sure Mr. Schilling, the same way Mr. Altoff came in, would be more than willing to work with the town to make sure that the town has more than enough water than it needs. So, thank you for your time that you were here. Thank you for your comment, and we can move on to the next one. Mr. President.
You're welcome.
All right, public hearing's still open. Any other members of the public would like to come up and speak? Please feel free to do so. Just need your name and address for the record.
Hello.
Good
Julie
evening.
Solomon, 9665 Marquette Place, Renaissance subdivision. Thanks for all that you do. We definitely, it's a hard job just by discussions that I watch online. I'm still concerned about this project. I was here for the first time around. It was 300 units or 300 families going in. Now it's 275, so 25 less. I'm very concerned about the traffic. I appreciate Town Council's push and the developers putting in Klein, but that won't be done for 5 years, potentially, access to this. So my biggest concern is you have one access point to this subdivision for how many years, because this is a phased project that's going to start south and go north. And the third point is not even planned, right? That's a potential. So I'm concerned about the pressure of traffic on Joliet Street. And I too consulted the comprehensive plan, which states when we do new developments, we need to minimize traffic congestion and provide better access to highways. The roadways of new residential subdivisions should provide multiple connections to existing roadways, therefore eliminating dead ends and congestion. I'm very concerned with congestion. I'm also concerned with if this is the main point of traffic going in and out with 275 to 500 more cars on the road, are they going to cut through Renaissance going north, the gates going south, and creating more traffic within residential neighborhoods where kids are playing and people are out and about? So my biggest concern is traffic. I also was concerned about water. I'm not going to get into that discussion because I'm not the expert here, but you have a well that's ready to go. My question would be, if you do choose to use it and you have to put in a treatment facility, are there concerns with the wetlands nearby? I'm not an expert, so that was just a question I had. If you do use that well and you have to put in a treatment facility. And then I think lastly, Town Council denied this in February 12th. I watched the recording. And their request and their feedback was no duplexes, all lots 80 by 140 or larger, completion of Klein, check. Parking spaces, utility and landscaping necessary for sustainable development, preserve natural features, buffer adjoining properties. Proposed plan creates an undue burden on public services like police, fire. I don't think 275 has relieved that burden that they were referring to when they denied it the first time. And not visually appealing with quality and types of materials. I can't make any judgments. What was presented tonight, during one of the planning discussions, they said they weren't changing anything from the first time to the second time, so is it really going to be more visually appealing? I don't know. So I'm not for this development. I'm all for progress, but I'm for the right kind of progress. And so what I would like is to ensure there's not too much pressure on Klein. If it moves forward, how do we make those access points immediate and not 5 years down the road? And I know we can't change the process of getting Klein completed. So if we can't rush that, why are we going to rush a rezone if we're not ready for it? So thank you for hearing my thoughts, and I appreciate it.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Doug Blocker, 10591 Juniper Lane, St. John. I was not in favor of this project at the last time it was before you guys. I thought actually the property was, or this project was dead, or would have been better when the town board did deny it and said no duplexes, and we want larger lots, 140 by 180 by 140. I think the developer, for whatever reason, did not comply with those requirements of the town board. I'm sure he's feeling that just down the street, Mr. Lawton just got approved for 50-foot wide lots and townhomes. So my few duplexes aren't going to make a difference. My concern is you got the duplexes and the property south of the duplex is vacant. So how do you think that vacant property is going to develop? Duplexes. You got Mr. Lawton east of Blaine. He's got townhomes. I'm assuming he's envisioned bringing those townhomes all the way to Blaine Street because he had stub streets going out. So then you're stuck between Klein and Blaine. Well, you got duplexes on one side, townhomes on the other side. How do you think that vacant property is going to develop? Duplexes and townhomes, right? Not single family. Town board said, we want more road improvements for this project. They come back and do Klein. Well, that's great, but I'm still got the concern of, okay, we got this grant here that pays 80% of the road improvements. So I'm not sure if we're going to be giving up hundreds of thousands of dollars in grant money to tell the developer put in the road. You know, I think you're better off to saying, hey, you paid a 20% that the town has to pay for that section across your frontage. Let the other grant money come in and pay for the rest, and take other money and put it on 101st Street improvements. I mean, you got a bridge there that crosses that creek. That needs to be widened. Spend some money there. There should be a left turn lane there at Park Place. I mean, Park Place is a major boulevard, and to not have a left turn lane there doesn't make sense. I mean, the town's spending, I don't know how many $100,000 to improve Joliet Road next year, from the tracks to Parish. To do what? Put in 3 lanes, 2 lanes with a left turn lane. You're east of the roundabout there, you got 2 roadways. They all have deceleration lanes and left turn lanes here. So why isn't there a left turn lane here? I mean, the town got rid of the road impact fee that every builder paid when they got a permit. So now these improvements are either going to be by the developer or by the taxpayer. I vote for the developer. Now, again, the developer's probably saying, no, well, wait a minute. You got a developer just down the street, just tied a brand-new roadway into 101st Street. No left turn, no deceleration lane, no acceleration lane, just straight tied in. Well, who you think it is? Mr. Lawton. You got a subdivision east of Blaine, 750 units there. What improvements did he did? There's no left turn lanes there. There's hardly any major road improvements being done with that development. So he's probably thinking, you know, why do I have to do these improvements? I'm looking at the sidewalk. Again, I was saying that the sidewalk along 101st should go from property line to property line. It doesn't. I think at the last meeting, somebody said, well, if somebody going out of west, out of the subdivision wanted to go west, they'd cross 101st, could take the sidewalk down to Garden Way, cross back to 101st to take that sidewalk. To me, that's not acceptable. I don't know if it's acceptable to you guys, who you want kids crossing 101st Street twice? That doesn't make sense. And put the sidewalk all the way to the property lines. Again, the developer's probably saying, well, wait a minute. Mr. Lawton hasn't installed any sidewalks for his Gates East. He hasn't hardly installed any for the Gates subdivision itself, except for that small sidewalk on the south side of 101st. There's no sidewalk other than that on 101st, no sidewalk on Klein, no sidewalk on Parish. I guess the other thing is, what about the sidewalk on Klein Avenue? Who's going to install that? I see no sidewalk on this plan. Now, I don't know if that's part of the road improvements that's going to be done to include sidewalks on there, or if that's going to be up to the developer. Well, I think the developer should be installing, again, sidewalk across this entire frontage. The thing that I see is that I think the town has got themselves into a pickle by giving Mr. Lawton anything and everything he wanted. Now the other developers are coming back and saying, well, wait, we want the same treatment. One last thing I got is you guys are doing the new Unified Development Code. Great idea, fantastic, except for the zoning part of it. Olthoff Homes could come in here under the proposed ordinance, they could come in here and ask for the suburban residential zoning, which would fit for this area and for this plan. They could then subdivide the property with 80-foot by 125-foot lots. He could also develop those lots either with single-family or duplex units, because they're both their permitted uses. So technically, he could do this plan totally with duplex units, with final siding, because there's no requirement other than, you know, regarding specific types, no PUD. So he'd be allowed to develop this whole thing with duplex units. And you'd have to approve it because, hey, he's complied with the ordinance. I'm not in favor of that. I think most residents in town would not be in favor of that. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Public comment, just need your name and address.
I'm Ryan Burnett from 9610 Dewey Place. I live in Crown Point, directly behind where the stubbed Klein Avenue would be. I have concerns about the traffic because you have 275 homes, but you only have 2 means to access the property. So the other access to the property would be through existing Crown Point, which is just a residential roadway with people trying to get to Blaine to cut across until Klein Avenue is built. So he's committing to Klein Avenue, but how much of it? Is it just going to sit there as a empty roadway for a period of time? How long is this property going to take to develop? I know previously you talked about it was like a 5-year development plan over several stages, so I'd like to know that answer. I'd also like to know what is the easement between the proposed Klein Avenue and the existing properties in Grouse Point. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Sir, if you can leave like an email with Ashley, we can get you that information.
I've done that previously and I never received anything, but I'm happy to do it again.
There you go.
Anyone else, public comment? Second call for public comment? Third and final call. Public comment is now closed.
Thank you. I'll try to address a few points that we heard in the public comment portion here. This project will meet all, as far as the engineering goes, and site design and infrastructure requirements. It'll meet all the codes currently in place with the town of St. John, so that would include improvements such as D-cell, XL lanes at 101st, sidewalks. We're not asking for any waivers in that manner, so whatever frontage improvements would be required by ordinance, we would be installing them. Again, on the traffic side of things, this is going to be a phased project, so it would be phased in to the community over probably 5 years at this point. If in that time frame Klein Avenue was not yet installed, we would still make that connection into 96 Place to allow both access points to service the property. There were some comments on parking as it relates to potentially the finding of facts. These are single-family residences and the paired cottage units as well. They all have full-length driveways, so there's 2 parking spots on the driveway and also 2 spots in the garage. So that meets most of the town ordinance, or meets the town ordinance. There was a comment on landscaping. We fully intend to submit a landscape plan designed by an architect. We have that actually as part of the documentation. There will be landscape buffering along the Renaissance property, along 101st. We are cognizant of trying to buffer ourselves from the surrounding subdivision, so that is part of this proposal, landscape buffering in those vicinities. And then as far as there was a comment on aesthetics of the units themselves, we've committed to composite siding and up to masonry levels and some different features on some of the homes. This is consistent with what is in the Renaissance and in the gates as far as materials go. So we did, we're cognizant of our surroundings and tried to make that work. And then finally, I guess, as far as infrastructure goes, again, we're not asking for any development dollars for it. This would be all developer-installed utilities and infrastructure as part of the project. And I think that covers most of the public comments. If I missed something, I'd be happy to try to pick it up.
Thank you. Anyone else, questions, comments?
I have a couple of questions that just, in listening to everybody, raised just some thoughts. Ashley, when was the last traffic study done in this area? I know I'm putting you on the spot, and I'm really sorry.
I think our last thoroughfare improvement study plan, which would have studied all the roadways in the town, would have been in 2020. When the road impact fee had been installed. I know one of the persons mentioned the road impact fee is gone. I just want to make it aware that the road impact fee could not be used to improve existing condition. It can only be used for new. So that was really prohibitive on that road impact fees because we could only use it to install new things. We could not use it to improve existing infrastructure. So that's kind of why that item got removed, is because it's something that we can only use for new. We can't use it to improve. But 2020 would have been when the last one is done. I do know that Adam stated earlier in the year that when the time for engineering comes, the Plan Commission can request a traffic impact study be done for the development as part of our subdivision control ordinance. At this point in time, we're looking at just engineering, or not engineering, rezoning. So if the rezone is passed and if it is accepted by the town council, they still have to do the engineering, which then requires our engineer to look at it, and he's going to look at it from traffic, water, utilities, all those items that are required by our subdivision control ordinance, which Ed said they are going to be installing all requirements by our SCO. And in their planned unit development, they did not request any waivers, so they plan on installing everything that we already require.
Okay, thank you, I really appreciate it. And then the matter of this well and pump, I think I heard something about like a 300-foot area being required for that.
So wellheads do require a protection of at least a 100-foot radius.
Yeah.
But it can't be greater than that to provide protection for that wellhead. And essentially that means that nothing can be built, or like a wet detention basin can be within that wellhead protection area. There's very specific requirements that the Indiana Department of Environmental Management has on their regulations that goes into what is allowable around a wellhead and what is not allowable, and
Sure.
it's very specific criteria, which is where that radius is coming from.
Okay, that makes sense. So with that specificity, do we know where it would have to go?
So there was a test well put.
Down the southwest corner, isn't it?
We cited it and everything, and the test well was installed, so that radius was already defined.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that would
It
be.
doesn't impact the rest of what you.
I guess that's
propose.
what I'm asking, is that if would it require like replanning or anything of that note?
No.
Okay, they could happen simultaneously. Or
Yes.
they could, okay.
I seem to recall it's in an area that you weren't going to do anything with
Yeah,
anyway,
It's
right?
That's
in the
why
southwest
I'm-
corner.
that's why
over
I'm
there, yeah,
asking.
south of the playground on that.
Because
concept.
I
Kind of around this area.
Yeah.
I like, I mean, yeah, having more water is always nicer, and if it, but, and if we can do it, and if everybody wins, then I feel like that's a good thing.
Sure.
Thank you. Questions, comments? Anyone else? With that, because it is a proposed rezone to the PUD, this would require a motion for either a favorable, unfavorable, or no recommendation to the town council. Any motion should reference the findings of fact.
I'll make a motion for a favorable recommendation to the town council with all the findings of facts.
Motion by Mr. Vogel, is there a second?
So moved.
Second by Ms. Abernathy. All in favor, so indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Aye. Here.
So it's 5-1.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Have a good evening. Agenda item number 5, old and new business, 2025-24, Gates of St. John, Unit 28. Mr. Kill, good evening.
Maybe give a minute.
Good evening, everybody. This is a request for final plat, secondary plat, I should say, for Unit 28. We do have our engineering review letter. We are in the process of obtaining the bonds right now. I did get a letter from Ashley. I have our payment of the remainder of our fee. So we should be in compliance with everything, and we've discussed this at the study session. So everything should be in order for the request for secondary plat with the contingency of the bonds being issued in accordance with the letter from the town engineer and obviously Ashley's final review. And that's what we are here requesting tonight. All the improvements are in, I should say, with the exception of the street lights, street signs, and the as-bills we still have to do. But the bonding will cover all of that. That's all outlined in the letter.
From the town's perspective, yes?
The roads were paved with final top coat over Friday and Saturday of last week. My public improvements inspector has been out and finds them acceptable to town standards. He is correct, there are still no streetlights and street signs, so those will need to be installed. And they need to be installed and operationable for the streetlights before any occupancies can be granted for any construction of any new homes.
No engineering concerns?
Our engineer is present in the audience if you would like to ask him if he has any engineering concerns from that standpoint.
There was an on-site inspection done with Ashley and Adam and myself. And actually, I believe Mr. John was there. John Gill was there too. So the four of us did have an on-site meeting. Since this is secondary plat, you can see clearly where all of the improvements are in, everything's done. I just know that they actually did verify that the surface coat of asphalt was put on, and that has been accomplished. And as she said, we just have a few things left that we will cover with bonds.
All right. Don't need a hearing, but we would need a motion for approval of final plat. Any motion would need to reference the findings of fact as well.
Real quick, on this one, I thought I read something that they want to skip the 1-year performance. Is that correct?
Yes, as part of the engineer's recommendation, he is recommending that instead of performance, going straight to maintenance.
Why are we skipping a 1 year?
Well, I can tell you that, and I haven't even had a chance to talk to Ashley about this yet, we are going to put a performance bond up for the streetlights, street signs, and as-bills. So there will be a performance bond. It's only required for the outstanding items that are not improved. And the performance bond covers 100% of the cost of improvements. I am going to give that to Ashley. That is going to be part of the submittal to her. So just so you know, there will be a performance bond issued for anything that is not put in, which I said are very minor items. It only amounts to maybe $25,000, $27,000. It's not that much. The big bond is the maintenance bond. That's almost $200,000. And that covers all the improvements for a period of 2 years, as you know. So we actually will be doing that.
So how would we vote on something like this?
Well, it'd just be contingent upon receipt of bonds.
Yep, it would make contingent upon approval of performance bond for outstanding and remaining items and receival of the maintenance bond as in the amount listed on the engineer's letter as shown on your screens currently, and then withholding all signatures until both bonds are received and then accepted by the town council.
And that also includes pending approval of as-bills, right?
Yes, the as-bills are included as part, so that would be part of what the performance bond would be for. And
Okay.
as-bills typically run about $5,000,
Okay.
if I remember from previous engineering letters before, roughly.
Okay.
Something like
I tend to agree with you, as this is a weird one to vote on, because it seems like some of the items that are required are pending.
We've done So we have done where as-built, we bond, we incorporate them in either the performance letter or their performance bond. That has been something that we have done historically before, for most developers. The part that's different for me is having both a performance and a maintenance bond. Typically, you do performance, and then once everything is received, inspected, and approved, then you convert to the 2-year maintenance for the entire thing. So that's the part that's a little bit different to me. So the wording of it would have to be something along the lines of, if this is acceptable by the Plan Commission, it would need to have approval contingent upon receival of the performance bond for the streetlights, street signs, and as-built from the developer to be accepted by the town council at the 115% required by the subdivision control ordinance, for the maintenance bond as recommended by the town engineer for this project in the amount of the $175,375 to also be accepted by the town council, and withholding all signatures until all bonds are received.
Okay.
So that part is wonky to me too.
Yeah. So that's, you understand why I'm unsure of how to proceed.
It actually sounds, it's actually not that complicated. If you guys recall, there was a subdivision that was approved in St. John just last year. They posted a $7 million performance bond to receive secondary plat. That was with no improvements in. These subdivision, this unit is completely built. Everything's installed, with the exception of some street lights, street signs, and some as-bills, which those items are always done. So all you would do is everything would be contingent upon the receipt of a performance bond and a maintenance bond, and you would withhold the signatures on the Mylars until the town approved those. That's been typical for the last 30 years of every time a subdivision has come in. There's always bonds that are outstanding. Always. It can't be avoided.
Okay.
And then we don't sign it.
You just don't sign it. You just withhold signatures on the Mylars.
I see it. I'm one of the ones who gets called in and sign the Mylars when they finally.
Okay, yeah. I mean, that's really what I'm looking for here.
It's a little weird, but the contingencies are hanging over their head where they don't get to move forward until they get it done.
Okay. Thank you for explaining that. I appreciate it.
Any other questions, comments? This is where I'm lucky I don't get to make motions because I can't remember everything you said. But is there a motion for final plat with the conditions outlined by Ms. Abernathy?
Can we just make a motion and just tell her to say it? And there anyway, because I remember a quarter of what she said.
Contingent on the performance bonds for streetlights, street signs, and the as-built, and there might have been some other stuff I missed, and as well as the maintenance bond in the amount of $175,375.
Both to be received by the town and accepted by the town council.
I almost had it right.
Yep.
Almost had it right.
Ashley, would you care to make the motion? Since you are more together on this than we are apparently.
A motion to approve the final plat for the Gates of St. John, Unit 28, contingent upon receival of a performance bond in the, for the streetlights, street signs, and the as-built in the amount of the $115% of the estimated cost of those items as required by the subdivision control ordinance to be received by the town for the 2-year maintenance bond for the rest of the remaining items in the amount of $175,375 for that at that 15% for the 2-year maintenance bond for both to be received by the town and then accepted by the town council, and withholding all signatures on the Mylar until such bonds have been received and approved by the town.
Seconded.
Motion by Ms. Abernathy, second by Mr. Emschway. All in favor, so indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That would be 6
Thank
to
you so
0.
much, Ashley.
You're welcome.
That's a cop-out making her do that, I'm just saying.
Here's the thing, she's,
Just kidding.
you know.
I would have missed 5 or 6 things, I'm
Yeah,
sorry
right.
to tell you.
Item B, 2025-18, Gates of St. John, Unit 7A, Lot 888, request for final plat.
Again, this is just a simple two-lot subdivision of an existing lot. We went through this, I've been through 2 study sessions on this. The lot sizes exceed the covenants and exceed everything that was approved and exceed actually the size of the lots around it. And we are here requesting secondary plat. All the improvements are in. There is nothing required since this has been there for about 15 years. Everything is in, accepted, approved. Just requesting secondary plat with no contingencies.
All right, anyone questions, comments?
It's simple.
This one is pretty simple. With that, would entertain a motion for approval of final plat for the re-subdivision. Do we need findings on this one? I believe we do.
I will make a motion to approve the final plat for re-subdivision of Lot 888 in the Gates of St. John.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Emschway, second by Mr. Vogel. All in favor, so indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? And that one is approved 6 to 0. You're all set.
Thank you, everybody, and have a great Thanksgiving.
You too.
Thank you.
Agenda item number 6, public comment. Going once, going twice. Item 7, adjournment.
Make a motion to adjourn.